Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something awesome to take a look at. We have more of the Captivz Clash Edition Jurassic World figures. So we have an entire box full of the Captivz Jurassic World eggs, just tons of them in here. So I am very interested to see if we can complete the entire set now with this box here. This was kindly sent to me thanks to Toymonster International. They were super awesome, sent this over for us to take a look at, get kind of an idea of what the figures in the line look like. So a huge thank you goes out to them for doing just that. The box art here is actually fantastic. I was just going to turn it around, but look at how beautiful it is with the Jurassic World logo there. A sneak peek there as far as what the figures look like and how you have to build them, and then of course you can battle them as well if you'd like. And we have that really nice looking backdrop right there, very Jurassic World like. And then over here on the side again, Captivz Clash Edition Jurassic World right there. We can see a sneak peek of some of the eggs hidden within. And then here on the back we can find a whole bunch of different figures that are in the line, some of which actually were not even involved with the booklet, as some of them weren't in there when we looked at them recently. I don't recall that kind of golden Indominus Rex in there, and I'm thinking that's probably because it says here only available with collector's case. Interesting. So again, there's a lot in this line right here, some of which we already have, some of which we've already reviewed. So let's go ahead and pop this box open, and then we'll find out who we have inside species-wise. So we open the box up, and right away inside is another Jurassic World logo. If we stand up, we can also see the Jurassic World Captivz Clash Edition logo. Pretty much the same thing as far as what we have up here on the top, although it does say stretchy lava, which is something that you didn't see here on this part. And then we actually pull this up, and then we just get that actually out of the way entirely as I'm knocking things over almost. And then you can see all of the eggs inside. We have two layers of eggs. We have a layer on the underside, a layer here on the upper side. So we've got quite the task ahead of us when it comes to getting each and every one of these out to see which species we have this time. So let's pop each and every one of these open and do that right now. So just like with the first round of the Captivz figures that we unboxed, you can see that the eggs themselves look really cool. They have this little area of the logos and stuff over top with some plastic, and then once you remove that plastic, there's another area here that kind of has a really cool appearance to the egg itself, giving it kind of a realistic look. And then you also remove that area, and then that exposes the egg itself as far as a really cool plastic textured egg. So first of all, we'll pop that part off the outer rim, and then you get this type of a look. Again, you can see the entire egg now is out with this really cool kind of plastic that's over top, giving it kind of that almost textured type of a look. And then you can get a sneak peek of what the egg itself looks like in there. So then we have to peel the next part off. And then if you are a kid, this is where the fun begins, because now the egg is out of all of the wrapping. You can see it's nothing more than a nice black, very nice textured egg. And then you pop it open, and that's where the slime lies. So we've got this really cool kind of, as the package said, lava-like slime, and it absolutely has that lava-like look to it. You can see as it's just kind of leaking down. And then inside the slime is our dinosaur that is encased in a plastic bag. So you basically have to separate the bag from the slime to get yourself your dinosaur out. So let's go ahead and find out which one we got. So we've opened up the first egg, and the very first one is one that we already had. So we have another Brachiosaurus. We have the pieces here. So we've got to piece our Brachiosaurus together. Actually went on pretty smooth. It doesn't always do that. Put the neck in and then put the tail in. That also went in quite smoothly. So straight away a repack of previous ones, but I am very, very confident that we are going to get plenty of repacks here. Plenty of repeats, I should say, of figures that we already have. So let's go ahead and see what the next one is. Okay, we've got another one. So we also have an Indoraptor, which, again, I love these little additions they include because it shows you all kinds of very cool information. And actually, I'll show you some of the other ones. For the instance, the Brachiosaurus. You can see with the Brachiosaurus, we have the height, the weight, the speed, and the killer rating, as well as the intelligence level of the dinosaur. And all of them include that, which I think is really cool. But again, we have the Indoraptor. The reason I decided to show you the Brachiosaurus as opposed to the Indoraptor is because I think in the first unboxing I had shown off the card for the Indoraptor in that one as well. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit, but oh, they're actually popping on a little bit easier today for some reason. So there we go. We've got our Indoraptor put together. Again, a second Indoraptor now. This one actually looks like maybe the dry brushing isn't quite as abundant. Like the dry brushing on this one compared to the first one that I had taken a look at is a lot less dramatic, I could say, as far as that goes. I think it looks a lot better than the initial one that we had taken a look at. And then speaking of Indoraptors, the next one we have is another Indoraptor. So we actually got the rare Indoraptor for a second time. So although he is rare, he also doesn't seem like he's too hard to find. You know, definitely something that I'm sure will be a little bit of a task, but not too bad, as we now have two of those in. Oh boy, the tail is definitely stiff on this one. Oh, let's get that tail in there. Oh, that one's really hard to get in. All right, it's mostly in. There we go. And we have our, again, copper bronzish type of an Indoraptor, which looks super cool. I love those, you know, gold, silver, and copper versions. And finding out there is an Indominus out with the collector's box is really cool. I definitely have to find that so I can try to acquire that Indominus as well. And then the next one is, oh, this is definitely a good one. This is one we did not have. I mean, we have had it in prior lines, but we haven't had it with the newest version. We've got ourselves the Mosasaurus. So taking a look here at the back, we can see the length, the weight, the speed, as well as the killer rating, which is pretty much through the roof, and the intelligence of our Mosasaurus. Pretty fun collectibles right there. And then our Mosasaurus itself, and I definitely can say, without even putting it together, this is the best version of the Mosasaurus that the Toymonster International line has had so far. In my opinion, I feel like this one looks the closest color-wise to the actual Mosasaurus in Jurassic World. Look at that. That's really neat. So instead of just like, you know, scars on your figure like you get with a lot of these, it's actually kind of in the shape of a mouth, like maybe a shark or another Mosasaurus or something has actually, you know, taken a bite out of the side of the Mosasaurus. That's super cool. Really neat idea on the part of Toymonster. And then our next one is yet another, whoop, it's upside down, another repeat of a figure that we have already found. We also have reviewed it now, and that is the newest version of the Carnotaurus with a very cool looking paint scheme. The tail doesn't want to go on. Very cool paint scheme on this one. Again, my favorite, I think, as far as the Carnotaurus figures go from the Captivz line. I definitely like that one more so than the last one, the Toro version. And then the next one is definitely another exciting one. Yes, this is another one we didn't have, and it's actually one of the rare figures for sure. This is the ultra rare Tyrannosaurus Rex, the silver Tyrannosaurus Rex. Actually, let's take a look at the back of what this one says. Again, we've got the height, the weight, the speed, the killer rating yet again through the roof, and the intelligence. It's actually quite high for the Rex, which is pretty cool. And then we've got our pieces right here that we have to put together to get our Tyrannosaurus in one piece. And we've got the head over here. Definitely interested to see if these are the same as the previous releases, because we have had, again, alternate color variants of these figures like this, like Indoraptor, like we've had that one specifically. And when I reviewed that one a few days back, it seems as though the older one was a slightly different shade of color compared to the newer one. So I'm wondering if that's the same case with the others. And then the next one is another one, actually, that we already have in this round. We have another of the Brachiosaurus, so we'll get that one put together, even though we really don't need to. But I'm intrigued to see, oh, I almost put his head into his butt. I wonder what that would look like, actually, if we put it backwards. So there's what the Brachiosaurus would look like if he was an inverted dinosaur. Get the tail in there. All right, so there we go. Now we've got ourselves an alternate variation of the Brachiosaurus, where his head comes out of his butt and his tail comes out of his neck. Anyway, we'll put them together the correct way. That is one fun aspect of these figures, is that you can do that with the majority of them, as most of them usually have like the head and the neck separated. But another really cool Brachiosaurus. I'm very excited to see this entire area covered with these Toymonster figures once they're all taken out of the package. And then we've got another really cool one in the next egg. We've got the Stygimoloch. We have already received this one in the unboxing, but we also have already reviewed it. Although I will say that it is without question an incredible looking Stygimoloch. Like, I had stated in the review, this is my favorite version of the Stygimoloch, sculpt-wise, possibly paint-wise as well, in figure form that we've had from anybody yet. Oh boy, that neck is definitely giving me some troubles. There we go. So we've got the neck on. Really, really beautiful Stygimoloch, an absolutely gorgeous sculpt, and actually really nice paint, especially for being a mini. It's insane how good that is. So we've got ourselves another repeat in the next egg. We've got the T-Rex again, and I think the rating and everything would probably be the same here in the back. Yeah, it looks the same as the previous one. So again, the male, the greenish Tyrannosaur here with this one. And boy, again, they're so tough to get in sometimes. I think a little hot water would probably go a long way when it comes to applying these pieces, but I always just kind of try to shove them together here at the review station. I don't have any hot water here, but a gorgeous looking Tyrannosaurus for sure from the Captivz line, and you can see it next to the, well, he just fell over, but you can see it next to the silver one right there, and how cool they look together. And he, for some reason, does not want to stand. They usually, like the Rex, never has any issues standing. And this one, oh, there we go, now it's standing. This one's trying to give me some trouble. Oh, here we go. The next one is a very exciting one, and this is one that I was really hoping and keeping my fingers crossed I would get. We have the Spinosaurus. So taking a look here at the back of the card for the Spino, we've got, again, the height, the weight, the speed, the killer rating, and the intelligence. So very similar to the T-Rex, maybe slightly less intelligent, I think, than the Rex. Oh yeah, just barely. The killer rating is very similar, but I think the Rex might be a little bit of a higher killer rating than the Spino as well. But the Spinosaurus instantly definitely looks cool. Not any type of like a JP3 color scheme or anything for it. It definitely seems to have its own unique paint scheme compared to any Spinos that we've seen in the Jurassic franchise. But again, a really cool sculpt. That is a gorgeous looking Spinosaurus. And definitely some very fun coloration added to it. We've got some more injury here in the neck like a lot of them have. And I like how this one is kind of like stab marks or like teeth marks, similar actually to the Mosasaurus. That is a really nice Spino. That's actually far nicer than I was expecting, and I usually have high expectations for these Captivz figures, but that is definitely a nice Spino. And then the next one is another one that we already have, which is the Triceratops. And taking a look here at the back, you can see the killer rating, intelligence, and all of the other information for this one. Not the smartest dinosaur, it seems, as far as the Triceratops goes, but we've got all the pieces here. My fingers, as we go here, are being dyed red as we go through all of the slime, and I have to keep trying to clean my hand off before I bring it back in to try to get the slime off before bringing the figure in. But that is a really, there's some more slime on the underside of the neck right there, but that is a beautiful Triceratops. I'm a huge fan of this one. I stated that in the review, that I absolutely adore this Triceratops, and that opinion is certainly not going to change. A really nice Triceratops. And then we've got ourselves another Stygimoloch. So we have yet a, what is this, probably third Stygimoloch, I think, at this point, if we count the previous unboxing. And now this one, this is 3, although we actually have, I think, 3, there we go, 3 or 4 now of the Brachiosaurus. I'm not sure how many we have gotten of that one already, but another, again, beautiful Stygimoloch. And now that I have so many, as far as like a few doubles, I think I'm going to repaint some, so that'll be a fun video. I've repainted minis in the past, but I've never repainted any of the Captivz figures, so that's something I'm definitely looking forward to doing. And then we've got ourselves another Carnotaurus, so definitely another repaint there. As far as, actually, did we look at the highlights of the Carnotaurus? Definitely another repaint coming as far as that goes, but you can see the killer rating and intelligence and everything information-wise on the Carnotaurus, which is very cool. I think the sculpt is definitely just screaming for a very realistic paint job, and this will be one of the nicest Carnotaurus figures that I think we've had. But man, that is so nice. The new color scheme for this is so much nicer, and I love how precise and how perfect the eye size is in comparison to the previous one. The previous one really just needed smaller eyes. It would have looked so much better, but they've corrected it so nicely now on the newer one. And then we've got ourselves another Spinosaurus. So that means there's definitely a repaint coming for, oh, I just knocked over the Carnotaurus. There's definitely a repaint coming for a Spino too. So since I've got 2 of them, I can definitely now, do I have that tail upside down? Nope, I had it right. Yeah, there we go. I can definitely paint up a Spino, maybe give it the JP3 colors and see how nice it looks with that on it, which I'm certain it's going to look awesome. Really, really love that Spino. And then we have another one here that we already have, which is Velociraptor Blue. I'd imagine the intelligence of Blue. Yes, there we go. I was going to say that should be through the roof. She's a very smart dinosaur, and you can see all kinds of information on her right there. And then again, she has this plastic that encases her to keep her from warping on her way. We've got the head here to slip on, which I think the head of Blue always gives me trouble because it's always a little tough to get on. Definitely no different with this one here. Some of these have been a little easier than the previous ones to get on, but Blue is certainly not one of them. And then we got to get that tail. That's a big ball joint to get in that tail right there. Maybe that's why it's so hard. There we go. All right. So that was only mildly difficult, but we've got Blue together now for the most part. The head's not exactly perfect, but again, pretty much together. That really cool greenish coloration. It looks actually a little more vibrant on this one than the earlier one that I had reviewed. I really like the green color of that Blue. And then we've got a super exciting one. I just realized that quite a few of the dinosaurs have died while I was looking at this stuff, but we've got a really exciting one as we have the Ankylosaurus. This is the first time we've had an adult Ankylosaurus in the Captivz line. Again, we can see the information on the dinosaur right there. But here we go. We've got our Ankylosaurus. We have had a... Ow, that's a little hard to get in there, but we have had a Bumpy in the past, but we haven't had... You know, actually, I don't know if this one technically would be an adult. It looks kind of adultish, but at the same time, it almost looks like just a slightly older version of Bumpy, maybe, which is interesting to see. But another pretty cool looking coloration. Nothing super flashy, but there's actually some blood, it looks like, out here on the club tail. That's very cool. I don't think I've ever seen an Ankylosaurus given that area to kind of insinuate maybe like it just laid a beating on somebody and applied some blood to that. That's definitely interesting. And the next egg is another Triceratops, so we now have yet another Triceratops added here, which means we will absolutely have a Triceratops repaint coming at some point. Oh, I think the tail's upside down. Yes, it is. It'd be awesome to have one of each of them to repaint the entire line, but I don't think that's going to happen, but again, I absolutely love that Triceratops. And then we have another really exciting one as we have the Dilophosaurus. Now this one's not quite as exciting as some of the others because we already have the Dilophosaurus, but I was definitely hoping to get a second just so we can at least repaint one. And in general, because it's, you know, a new species to the line, something that I don't have, like older versions. Some of these I have the older versions of. I only have this newest version of the Dilophosaurus. So I'm pretty excited to now have a second of, whoops, I dropped the tail, of the Dilophosaurus, and it is a very cool looking version. Get that tail on there, there we go. We've got that one set and looking pretty darn cool right there. And then we've actually got ourselves another Ankylosaurus. So we are now 2 Ankylosaurus in, which is pretty sweet to have a second, and confirms again that we have the blood there on the club tails. So some of them have like those wounds, some have scars. The Ankylosaurus, oh, he actually looks like, oh no, that's some slime. I thought that was another wound on that one, but it seems as though some have wounds again and some have scars, but I feel like this wouldn't be the blood of the Ankylosaurus. I mean, maybe. I almost feel like that's blood from somebody else that this Ankylosaurus has clearly abused. Very intriguing regardless. And then we've got Velociraptor Blue yet again. So that's like 3 or 4 blues, I think, now that we have, as far as this greenish version goes, which I, again, love the greenish color of. And I'm wondering if some are... Oh, actually, I just remember how hard this was to get back on. The tail was a little bit of a nightmare just before. We're going to break the fingers again trying to get this one on. Blue, I think, is the hardest one to put together out of every one of these. It seems like Blue's tail and his neck, it's just so hard sometimes to put together. So the head went on easily. The tail still isn't on all the way, but I feel like my fingers are going to probably just pack their bags and move out if I try to force that on anymore. Definitely going to have to get some hot water on that one. But where's Blue? Yeah, so I was wondering if the vibrant green of this one was slightly different, and you can definitely see that. And this is a common thing when it comes to figures like this that are hand-painted, but you can definitely see this one is a little bit of a darker green than this one. Obviously not something that was meant to happen, but it is still neat to have slight variants like that. And we are getting down to the final 4, and there's one figure that I can think of that we haven't received yet here, so that's a little bit scary, I guess you could say, hoping that we get it so that we can complete the line. But we have another Indoraptor, So quite a few Indoraptors now as well, which means I'll definitely repaint one of these guys at some point. Oh man, my fingers are just like calling it quits on me after that Velociraptor battle that I had there with Blue. Another nice Indoraptor. Again, I feel like the dry brushing of this one isn't quite as abundant as the very first one that I got of those. And the next one is definitely really cool, one that we do already have, but I was really hoping to get a second one because the first one that I came wasn't in the plastic, and this one wasn't in this plastic to try to stop it from, bowing in transit. And now, actually, let's look at the back because we didn't look at that one. Oh, we have the wingspan, the weight and the speed, and then the intelligence and killer rating. But because of it not sitting in the thing on the way here on the plastic, the leg was really warped on mine, so it's nice to have one without that going on, with no warped leg. And regardless, I probably could have easily fixed it. That was really easy to get on. I could have easily fixed it with just a little warm water, but actually warm water, cold water, but regardless, it is now together. I feel like the paint of this one looks a lot nicer than the paint of the one that I had just reviewed. Let me find that one really quick. So here's the one that I just reviewed, and I definitely think I like the paint of this newer one a little bit better. I just feel like it's a little bit nicer as far as the application of the paint goes. I almost made it do like a flip right there. Like specifically in the head, the dry brushing isn't quite as abundant. Like it's there, it's not too far off, but I definitely feel like I like this one a little better, which is good because this is the one that's not warped in the legs. And now the final two, and the first one is not the one I was hoping it would be, but we have the T-Rex yet again, another of the green Tyrannosaurus figures. So this really shows you how many figures there are for one thing, but how much of a variety there is when you get them. You just have no idea what you're going to get. Now this tail's going to be a pain to get on too. Oh well, it's not on perfect. I don't really mind right now because I'm just okay with it sitting there like that. But again, it just shows you the variety. You just have no idea what you're going to get when you buy one of these eggs. It could be anything. Whenever you buy an egg, it's just totally random what species you get. And the final one, it couldn't have been timed any better. It couldn't have been placed any better in this box. We have the one I was hoping to get, which is the limited edition Golden Velociraptor Blue. Of course, the information on the back is going to be the same, but I was really hoping to be able to acquire all of the rare ones in this set, and we now have that one here as well. This is the limited edition Velociraptor Blue, and the head goes on so nice, but let's see about this tail. I don't think my fingers are going to be happy about this. Actually, that went on really smoothly. That was really easy, shockingly. But again, we have the goldish Velociraptor Blue, a very hard one to find, probably the rarest, I would think, potentially, out of this line here, this set. So that is really cool, which means I think we have the complete set minus the Indominus, but the Indominus may not be released quite yet, so that might be why, as there are a few species yet to come that are not released. Hopefully I'll be able to locate that kind of goldish Indominus at some point, but you can see that we have a ton of Captivz Jurassic World Clash Edition figures here, some of which we've reviewed, some of which we haven't, and they will be coming up for review here on the channel very soon. So again, a huge thank you to Toymonster International for sending over all of these incredible figures, giving me the opportunity to unbox 2 different sets, actually 3 if you count the Mega Egg, but some awesome figures here for the Captivz line. I love these figures, and I cannot wait to review the final few that I was able to acquire here in this set, and then maybe repaint some as well. So make sure you check back for the reviews. Make sure you head to your local Meijer, Target, or Five Below to purchase yourself some of these fantastic figures, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.